Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. How's everyone? Alhamdulillah, I hope everyone are doing well. And thank you so much for tuning in today to Masjid Al-Falah's Facebook page, where we are in episode 3 on the topic of core confidence. Alhamdulillah, in the past 2 weeks, we have several other asatiza discussing about some other topics. And today, inshallah, we'll be discussing on the topic of looking after your health. So welcome, and do share your Facebook page. This Facebook page so that everyone can tune in together with you and benefit from this a little bit of my sharing, inshallah. And this is about taking care of our health, inshallah. Let me know if you are here so that I can interact with you, so that I know that you are here. And I see there's few here. My wife is watching as well. So yep. Do let me know if you're here, and we shall start soon, inshallah. Okay. Do press that share button and do share. Okay. Okay. I have prepared some slides, a number of slides, so that we can benefit from the hadith, the discussions that we'll be going to share today. And today, it's all about taking care of our health. I've prepared the outline here. So here's the 4 outline that we're going to touch today. Number 1 is on the importance of health in Islam. What does Islam say about health? Secondly, on the precautionary measures by our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So precautionary measures on people who are ill, people who are sick. It's not something new that we only practice today, but it is something that has been practiced by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. And then we're going to touch about how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself looked after his health, right? So there are about five things that we can learn from today to emulate, to follow how the Prophet take care of his health. And finally, how do we then look after of our own health and our family's health, inshallah. So if you're wondering why I am the one who is going to share about health, it is probably because I am invited even to share on this topic is maybe because of this. Alhamdulillah, I managed to experience gaining 40 additional kilograms in my lifetime within the span of few years. And alhamdulillah, afterwards, I managed to even lose that 40 kilogram that I have gained. You know, when I was extremely obese at 106 kilogram, I have no idea what health is all about. I have no idea what is nutrition is all about. I do not know that knowledge, that specific knowledge. I cannot differentiate between carbohydrates, fats, proteins, and why it matters to understand all these differences. I am not someone who exercises very well. And alhamdulillah, but afterwards, there is this hidayah. Alhamdulillah, I managed to find ways to actually lose my weight. So if you want to find out more, here's in the slides here. There's this video which I have shared previously, an interview with Ustaz Faizal at Al-Mu'minin Mosque Facebook page. You can go to www.tinyurl.com/recipe-kejayaan, where I shared how I managed to lose weight, a lot of weight, and I was featured at Berita Harian, Berita Minggu. And it basically boils down to these 4 or even more, but these are the basic things that when we want to attain success, these are the basic things that we need to have, which is knowledge, the knowledge of understanding of what we and how to achieve such a goal, and hard work. That is something that we have to have in order to achieve success, to achieve our goals. Consistency, istiqamah, and persistency, that is something also we need to have in order to achieve success. And also tawakkal, making dua, and hoping for the best, and asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to actually give us the success, any form of success that we are currently trying to get. Also, I'm here with me. I have a mobile phone with me, whereby I can see who's online. Thank you, Hasimah binti Masran, for being here and giving your hearts. Alhamdulillah. I hope it will be beneficial for you and for others as well who are tuning in today, inshallah. So probably because of this experience, some knowledge about health, I am able to share some of my knowledge lah, inshallah. Okay, importance of health. The first part of this sharing, how does Islam actually view health, right? So this is a hadith by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ni'matani maghbudun fihima kathirun minan nas, as-sihhatu wal faragh. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there are two blessings which many people lose, which are health and free time for doing good. Hadith narrated by Imam Bukhari. So we regard these two things as, when we consider in Islam, we consider these two things as blessings by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is one of it is time and as well as health. So Islam does not take health lightly, and we consider it as something which is important. In fact, as a blessing that we need to take care of and make shukr with this blessing of health. And there is also a hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam narrated by Usama bin Sharik radiallahu anhu. I was with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and some Arabs came to him asking, Ya Rasulullah, should we take medicines for any disease? He said, yes, O you servant of Allah, take medicine, as Allah has not created a disease without creating a cure except for one. They asked, which one? He sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, old age. So basically in Islam, we are encouraged to take medicine when we are ill, when we are sick. So it's not something that we neglect in our daily life. So when you are sick, we are encouraged to take medicine so that we can be healthy. When we are healthy, we are able to do and perform our worship even better, inshallah. Right? There is also another hadith, an ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 195. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وأنفقوا في سبيل الله ولا تلقوا بأيديكم إلى التهلكة وأحسنوا إن الله يحب المحسنين. Right, which means, and spend in the way of Allah and do not throw yourself with your own hands into destruction by refraining, and do good, indeed Allah loves the doers of good. Surah Al-Baqarah verse 195. So basically in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also encourage us to not put ourselves in danger, to not expose ourselves in a situation whereby we can get this kind of disease. And currently, sadly, unfortunately, we're in the situation whereby this COVID-19 disease are spreading worldwide and it's affecting our life. So we should not take this lightly, and we should consider to have a really good precautionary measures to protect ourselves and protect our family members from getting any form of disease. And this is an ayah on that topic. And if you go to one of the fatwa at MUI's website, you can find this long discussion on precautionary measures in dealing with the COVID-19. So one of the discussion here mentioned of this hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ, part of his teaching, when we are facing such a disease, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that La yuridanna mubridun alal musih. Do not place a sickly patient with a healthy person. So here we practice such a thing, not something that is new, but since 1,400 years ago, the Prophet has already advised us to practice these precautionary measures so that we ensure that those who are healthy, and those who are sick will not be mixed, so they will not get the sickness from one another, right? And there's also another hadith when we discuss on outbreak on diseases. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ بِهِ بِأَرْضٍ فَلَا تَقْدَمُوا عَلَيْهِ وَإِذَا وَقَعَ بِأَرْضٍ وَأَنْتُمْ بِهَا فَلَا تَخْرُجُوا فِرَارًا مِنْهُ. Which means if you hear that a land has a plague in it, do not go forward to it. If it comes upon a land which you are in, do not depart from it. So this is exactly what we are currently doing. Our borders between countries are closed, and we are not allowed to visit other countries and to have that luxury of traveling here and there, because we want to protect ourselves and we want to stop spreading the disease further. We want to ensure that we are able to curb the spread of COVID-19, and this is a precautionary measures, something that is not new, but even practiced by the Prophet ﷺ. So I hope we take these precautionary measures seriously and follow the guideline that has been advised to us by our experts, our doctors, our professional medical person, so that we won't neglect all these advices, inshallah. And here we can see another narration narrated by Imam Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ was once visited by Thaqif, a Thaqif tribe who wanted to pledge allegiance, to give bay'ah to the Prophet ﷺ. And those days, the practice was is that when you want to give allegiance, bay'ah to the Prophet ﷺ, usually they will shake hand. But in this case, when one of the person in that tribe actually infected by a contagious disease, so the Prophet, instead of shaking those persons' hands, he instead sent a messenger to tell them that I have accepted their allegiance, their bay'ah, and without even touching one of them. This is because the Prophet ﷺ do not want to spread this disease further, and hope that everyone will be safe and they will not be spreading this disease further, basically. So it is something for us to take note and practice how the Prophet actually did this when he have such experience as what we are having today. And there's also this verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 32. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in this ayah, whoever kills a soul, unless for a soul or for corruption done in the land, it is as if he had slain mankind entirely. And whoever saves one, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely. So this is very an important concept, that we do not want to just look health just about ourselves, but it's also to save other people, right? To save our family members, to save our neighbors, to save our community. So that's why it is not okay to neglect our health, our precautionary measures, because we may not only affect ourselves, but if we do not take seriously on all these precautionary measures, we may in fact cause others harm. And if this harm affect others, hence we will be at sin because we do not take care, and it's because of our negligence that we cause harm to others as well. So these are some of the broad concepts that we need to take care of, broad concept that we need to know and understand, so that we not only practice precautionary measures just because our government said so, the Ministry of Health said so, but we understand this is part of religion, and we understand this is part of the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ. And hopefully, by having that niyyah, by having that intention, we will get the rewards of following the Sunnah of Nabi ﷺ, of taking care of our health and taking care of the health of our community members, inshallah. So that's the first two parts of this sharing. So why is this sharing important? Why is talking about our health is important? Because in the hadith, Nabi ﷺ mentioned, Al-mu'min al-qawiyyu khayrun wa habbu ilallahi min al-mu'min al-da'if. A strong believer is better and is more lovable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than a weak believer. So if you want to be a better Muslim, we should be in the best state of our health. Because when one is in his best state of health, he will be able to perform his duties, his worship, his amanah as someone who is spreading goodness in this world and worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the highest quality, because we are in a state of good health. So imagine if someone who is affected by COVID-19 or affected in any kind of illness or diseases, he will not be able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the best of his ability, right? So that's why it's important for us to take care of our health, because we want to be strong and we want to be loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm currently looking at some of the comments here. Abdullah Suryati, thank you so much for saying Amin together. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us his blessings, inshallah. Amin ya rabbal alameen. So for the next third part of my sharing is I took from an article by Al-Falah Ustaz Muhammad Yusri Bihi Muhammad Yusuf. His article is in Malay. You can find this article at www.blog.pergas.org on the topic of menjaga kesihatan menerusi amalan gaya hidup Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How to take care of your health, following the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Basically, how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam look after his health. So this is quite helpful for us to look into, because It explains, it shares some of the pointers for us to emulate the Prophet ﷺ when we talk about following his footsteps, right? So there are actually five things that we can look into when we want to follow the Prophet ﷺ in terms of taking care of health. Number one, we can look into his active lifestyle, the Prophet ﷺ active lifestyle. Number two, his balanced diet. Number three, his fasting practices, his soul. And number four, his praise and worship. And finally, his supplication, his dua. And these are things that we can practice together, inshallah. So number one, active lifestyle. Basically, the Prophet ﷺ lead a very active lifestyle, right? We know that after he make his hijrah, he is a leader. He is someone who is very active throughout his day, doing da'wah, deliver Islam and spread the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to various tribes, to his companions, ensuring that he lives harmoniously together well with the other tribes, with the other community members in Medina and elsewhere. And this is something that is not easy. He will need to be actively involved in the community work, actively involved in delivering the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he lead a very active lifestyle, something that we can emulate. So we can imagine Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the age of 50 years old or more, even more, right? After hijrah, it's been many years and since his prophethood at 40 years old. So at 50 plus, he leads a healthy life, active lifestyle to spread the message of Islam. And we know from the history that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam avoid oversleeping. No, he always wakes up at night, and later we shall share with you one of the hadith on that. He always worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at night, and he avoid oversleeping. And we can see from narration, he actually actively engage in his daily activities with his wife. They race, he and his beloved wife Aisha radiallahu anha actually race one another, and sometimes Aisha would win, and even sometimes the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would win in that race. So imagine a person at 50 over plus doing that kind of activities. So we can imagine how active the Prophet is. And he, even in some narration, wins when he wrestled with his opponent. As we can see, wrestling is part of sports, even back days, right? So he even wins in that kind of sports, right? And he lead his companions in battle. No, after he lead Medina, he opened the city of Medina. There is Badr, there's this battle of Uhud, battle of Khandaq, and he lead his companion in battle. And as a leader in battle, he is not someone who is need to be active lah, kan, basically. So you can imagine the condition of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli alaihi wa ala alihi. And he always serve. And this is the purpose of our life. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We are here, we are created only to serve. إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. To serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in worship. To serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every way that we can. And in a hadith, another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that we are here as a khalifa. Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. Right? And here, as a khalifa, we are here to serve and ensure that we take care of the earth, of this earth, so that we can do our best and manage this world in the best manner, taking care of our community, of the environment, and always try to serve as best as we can, right? So that is number one, how to take care and how the Prophet ﷺ actually took care of his health by being active. So we should be active as well. And there are many ways to be active. There are various ways. So one is to actually ensure that we are being active by doing things that suits us. Everyone knows their own condition. Some of us can be active and be active in a way that is a lot. Some of us may not be able to be active. We have pain, back pain. We are not in 100% in terms of our health. So we can actually perform easy exercises or simple exercises. And these are some of the examples you can do: walking, tai chi, cycling, gardening, ping pong at home, whatever things that you can do. This is based on your own comfort level on how you can take care of your health, right? And number two, based on some of the hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam take good care of his diet. He practiced balanced diet. No one of the hadith of Prophet Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Prophet mentioned that a Muslim eats in one intestine, meaning he is satisfied with little food, while an unbeliever eats in 7 intestines, meaning they eat quite a lot. So as Muslim, we are not supposed to eat a lot. We are supposed to eat in moderation. What does it mean by eating in moderation? We can see from another narration, the Prophet mentioned that no human ever filled a vessel worse than his stomach. Sufficient for any son of Adam are some kind of food just to keep his back straight, just to have that energy to go through the day. But if he must even to eat a lot more, then 1/3 for his food, 1/3 for his drink, and 1/3 for his breath. So it is important for us to ensure that when we eat moderately with a balanced diet, not to over-consume too much food until we are too full, but instead we consume moderately and ensure there are room for food, 1/3 for drink, and 1/3 for air. And there is another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that food for 1 person suffices 2, and food for 2 persons suffices 4 persons, and food for 4 persons suffices 8 persons. So if you imagine, if you buy a meal, right, for a person, for yourself, even if you share it with your spouse, even if you share it with your parent, even if you share it with someone else, that is actually enough for you, right? Imagine a meal and you cut that meal into 2. That is enough for you to actually share that meal with someone else. And even if you have a whole lot of meal for 4 persons, even if you share it with 8 persons, it will still be sufficient. And we can see this a lot from the teaching of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, from the history, from the seerah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam actually always share their meals for a whole lot of people, and it still suffice to be shared with many people, right? So this is something that we can practice. Always share and do not overconsume. And Abu Hurairah also said that the family of Muhammad did not eat their fill for 3 successive days till he died. Hadith narrated by Bukhari and Muslim. Yeah, so this is something that we should take care of. We should take note of, not to overconsume, especially now in the month of Ramadan, when we do our iftar, when we break our fast. Do not overconsume. Why? Because it is part of the sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right? So balanced diet is important. And the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam not only eat one kind of food. The balanced diet also here means that he eats varieties of nutritious food. These foods are mentioned even in the Quran, right? On honey, on pomegranate, on olive, watini wa zaitun, right? On tamar, and many other food. Figs, here we can see from this image. Balanced diet meaning that you have different kind of food that you can eat, and you don't only stick with unhealthy food, although it's nice, it's tasty, but do not overconsume on those unhealthy food. And if we follow the guideline from our HPB or Health Promotion Board, we are advised to actually ensure that we have this kind of portion, right? This kind of portion of a whole lot of foods. Half our plates are covered with fruits and vegetables. Only 1/4 or 1/4 brown rice, whole meal bread, that kind of stuff, carbs, and protein, meat and others like tofu and fish. So you can see from this example, these are the kind of example that we can take when we want to have that balanced kind of diet in our daily eating habits, right? And again, balancing your diet with my healthy plate, we have to have this kind of varieties. We can have this kind of varieties when we portion our meal moderately, right? So these are some of the examples of vegetables, of proteins, of carbohydrates, whole grain, and these are healthy options that we can take care when we prepare our food. And the most important thing here is that do not consume and do not try to avoid to consume too much sugar in your diet. One of the main thing and one of the main reason how I gain 40 kilos, how I gain too much weight, is because I consume too much sugar and too much carbohydrates. That's how I managed to gain a lot of weight. So if you can control your consumption, especially your consumption on sugar, you can inshallah take care of your health better, right? So if you can see, this is the amount of sugar that we are taking when we have this kind of drinks. Okay, so at least when we understand the kind of sugar, there's this link from Facebook and Channel News Asia on videos on sugar that you can watch later on. You can pause here and try to go to this URL link so that you can watch later. Some ideas on some guideline on how much sugar we should consume every single day, right? So understanding the different types of carbohydrates, whole grains and refined grains, right? It's better to always take whole grains rather than refined grains, and this can help us to ensure that we have good diet. And even eating fruits also have, not all fruits are good if you overconsume some kind of fruit. So the guideline here is to take 2 servings of fruit per day and not too much, not until 5, 6, 7, 8 servings. Yeah, subhanallah. Thank you so much for your comments. Subhanallah. So these are some of the foods that you can take. And these are some of the healthiest snacks. You can actually find this at Health Hub website. So these are some of the guidelines that you can look into when we talk about balanced diet, right? So that is number 2, when we talk about taking care of our diet. And number 3, when we speak about taking care of our health, the Prophet ﷺ also practiced fasting a lot. And we know that fasting has its own benefit, many benefits. So one of it is to ensure that we are maintaining healthy body, and after 11 months of not doing fasting, we fast for 1 whole month, our body will be better because we are flushing away all the toxic in our body. And you can see from this image lah, basically to lower down our blood sugar level, to increase our immunity, to reduce our blood pressure and things like that. And if you want to practice fasting, there is this good calendar that is being developed by the community. You can Google for it, like calendar Ramadan 2020, for example. And this calendar actually tells you which day to fast and which day is sunnah to make fasting, right? So one of the days is Mondays and Thursdays. The Prophet ﷺ always practice this kind of fasting. And you can also practice this, and you can look into the colors of this highlighted calendar, right? You can know which one is Ayyamul Bayt, Shawwal, 6 days in Shawwal, day of Arafah, Tasu'a, Ashura, and many days in the month of Sha'ban. So after Ramadan, do your Shawwal, the 6th day of Shawwal fasting, and hope that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will grant us the reward of fasting like a whole 1 year, inshallah. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Right? And even this concept, non-Muslims or other than Muslims also have this term intermittent fasting, whereby they acknowledge that there is a whole lot of benefit when you do fasting, even on not dry fast. When we are fasting in Ramadan, we are practicing dry fast. But even if you are doing intermittent fasting, meaning that you are not eating for like 16 hours or 20 hours or 21 hours or 23 hours, but you can still drink liquids without any calorie, like coffee, tea, or plain water. So there is benefits by doing this intermittent fasting, and this is being acknowledged all around the world. So you can also watch this video at YouTube that I've given, and I have provided that link. You can pause later and look at that link and benefit from that link, and how this intermittent fasting can benefit you. And this is with regards to ketones level and things like that, which basically how I lose my 40 kilograms is by focusing on that ketones level and ensuring that I'm in ketosis mode, so that my fats are being burned throughout the day. So yeah, this is a good video for you to actually watch and understand. Oops. Right? Oh, so that's the third part, balanced diet. So the next part is on prayers and worship. The Prophet ﷺ take care of his prayers and worship, and the kind of level that he have when it comes to worship is that he will always pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at night. And this is not a kind of short prayers, but instead when he did tahajjud, when he performed his tahajjud, it will be a very long kind of sunnah prayers. And in this hadith, we can see because that the duration is just too long, his feet or legs swelled because of that duration of standing for too long, reciting long verses of the Quran, wanting to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and wanting to show his gratitude, his shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is one form of healthy lifestyle that we can perform. We wake up at night and we don't oversleep, and we perform worship so that not only our physical health are being taken care of, but also our spiritual health and our mental health are also being taken care of. And in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, Innal insana khuliqa halu'a, idha massahu sharru jazu'a, wa idha massahu la khairu manu'a, illa al-musallin, alladhina hum ala salatihim da'imun. Indeed, mankind was created anxious. When evil or bad things touches him, he will be impatient, except the observers of prayer, those who perform his prayer, those are constant in their prayers. So prayer here, taking care of our salah, there's not only spiritual benefit, not only for akhirah, there is also this benefit of our health. We stop being anxious, we stop being impatient because we take care of our prayers, and when we take care of our prayers, when we take care of that form of khushu' in our prayers, focusing on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is a kind of form of meditation. So if you can see non-Muslims or other than Muslim, they practice meditation so that they can attain clarity, they can attain spiritual stability, mental stability. We as Muslim, we should perform a kind of meditation, but this is really focusing on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and only have him in our mind, so that by doing those things, even scientifically proven, that we take care of our health as a whole. Right? And finally, how do we take care of our health is, of course, by supplication, making prayers, making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is one of the prayers or dua that we can perform. Allahumma afini fi badani, Allahumma afini fi sam'i, Allahumma afini fi basari, la ilaha illa anta. Right? So you can recite this dua to grant health for your body, for your hearing, for your eyesight, and you praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying that He is the only one that we worship. Right? And there is also an ayah in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينَ. We can always also recite this verse of the ayat Quran when we are not well, so that we understand that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can cure, can provide us his cure, right? For can shower us with the blessing of health. So repeatedly recite this ayah, make us understand, make us internalize that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give us the strength and the health, other than taking pills and go to the doctor. We understand that the one that can only cure us is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you are sick, and if you're unwell, and you find someone is unwell and someone is sick, you can make dua and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this dua, Allahumma ya rabban nas adhibil ba'sa ishfihi anta shafi, la shifa'a illa shifa'u shifa'an la yughadiru saqama, which means, so Allah, the Rabb of mankind, remove this disease and cure him or her. You are the great curer. There is no cure but through you, which leaves behind no disease. Hadith narrated by Imam Bukhari and Muslim. And this is the hadith, and this is the supplication that was made by Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we, if we perform this, we are performing the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well, and we recite this dua. There are also some kind of dua that we can recite, supplication, in our sujud and in our ruku', and these are narrated by Imam Muslim and Nasa'i and other Sahih hadith, whereby in your ruku', in your sujud, you can actually recite other than Subhanallah walhamdulillah, no, Subhana Rabbil Azim wa bihamdi, Subhana Rabbil A'la wa bihamdi. If you want to try to practice khushu' in salah, try to diversify your recitation in prayers, right? So that you are aware and you are into it, and you are constantly being aware that you are performing your prayers by knowing what you are reciting. Sometimes we just recite subhanallah alhamdulillah or subhana rabbiyal azim wa bihamdi rabbiyal a'la wa bihamdi without thinking, because it's something that we do every day. But if you are aware and you want to recite something else, these are some of the dua that is being taught by the Prophet SAW that you can recite during your prayers, during your ruku or during your sujud. And these prayers actually wish us well in terms of our health, our hearing, our sight, our brain, and things like that. Allahumma raka'tu wa bika amantu wa laka aslamtu khashi'an laka sam'i wa basari wa mukhi wa 'azami wa 'asabi. This you can recite during your ruku. There, when you perform your prayers and during your ruku, you can recite this dua and understand the meaning of it and internalize the meaning that you are actually bowing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are focusing with your eyes, your sight, your bones, your brains, and you are humble to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you can see these du'as, these applications are actually mentioning hearing, sight, blood, flesh, bones, brains. These are all, when we perform prayers, we are focusing on the different parts of our body, and hopefully this is a form of dua to take care of this part of the body. So those are the 5 things that we can actually learn from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in terms of taking care of our health. So take care, be active, ensure that we have a balanced diet, ensure that we have good exercise of worship, focusing on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We fast not only in Ramadan but elsewhere in the different times of the month following the sunnah, and also finally on this supplication dua based on what the Prophet has taught us. Okay, so do take note of this. You can take your notes and practice this afterwards so that you can take care not only your health but you can share it with others as well. Now we move on taking care of our health and our family members' health. Now, when we say about health, is don't just imagine health in terms of our physical ability, our physical health, but we also understand that health comes in different form, such as our psychological health, our emotional health, our spiritual health, and our physical health as well. So when we see how the practice of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he takes care of his health, you can see that he also take care of his emotion, not being someone who is angry. And the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam have various hadith on how to suppress your anger and be someone who is forgiving, be optimist, and don't have that jealousy, and always remind others to perform goodness. So these are all things which not directly related to our physical health, but these are also our spiritual and mental health that we need to take care of lah. So things that we need to consider when we talk about health, not just physical, but all other form of health as well. And especially now in our situation, COVID-19 situation, we should take care of our health even further, right? So from WHO, World Health Organization, we have to ensure that always our hands are clean. When we cough and we sneeze, we avoid having this sneeze and cough affecting others. We limit our social gathering. We stay at home. We have that distancing of 1 meter. Ensure that we disinfect and clean all our things. And in fact, this is part of our iman. And we perform our Ramadan, and we have this Ramadan session and Hari Raya session, Eid al-Fitri at home instead of going out, because we want to protect others, especially the elderly ones. They are more vulnerable to this disease of COVID-19. We don't want to be the one who spread this disease to them. So it's important for us to take care not only ourselves but others as well, right? So if you have family members, we have those who may want to go out during this Hari Raya, even during this circuit breaker period, do advise them not to go out because it is dangerous, it is not good, it is something that should be avoided, because this will cause harm to those people, especially those who are in those category, the elderly, that are very prone to this disease and will get a serious impact when they caught this disease. And these are some of the guidelines that we can see from various agencies at Singapore. Seniors do stay at home, protect yourself, stay active, wear mask all the time when you go out. Do not go beyond your immediate household members. Avoid visiting the markets if you can. No, do online shopping, online groceries. Stay at home, do the right thing. Do not go to groups, gathering. Limit social contact to household members and things like that. Go to doctor if you are unwell, as we mentioned earlier in the first part of this sharing session, whereby the Prophet ﷺ said that if you are sick, you can take medicine because there is cure in anything except for old age, right? So we need to break the chain of this COVID-19 transmission. So it is important for us to play our part and stay home, work remotely. If you must to meet other people, if you want to have a form of gathering, even in Ramadan, during iftar or during Hari Raya, you can always have the Zoom, Skype or WhatsApp kind of gathering that we can always perform. And even if you are healthy and you want to take care of your health by exercising, as mentioned earlier, exercise is good. Even if you go out, do take note of the precautionary measures, the etiquette for exercising when we are in the circuit breaker period. Wear your mask when you are not running, right? And even if you are run, ensure that you have safe distancing in practice. So things like that. And if you go to Ministry of Health website, you can find this special care kit for COVID-19, where they actually share with us these techniques that we can practice, like breathing technique. This may sound simple, but it is actually very powerful. If you know the breathing technique of this good sitting position, take a deep breath. And when you say about taking a deep breath, you see your stomach going out and for 4 seconds, and then you hold for 4 seconds and you like breathe out 4 seconds. No, not 4 seconds, but count on 4, right? Take the deep breath of 1, 2, 3, 4, hold for 4 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeat this for 5 times. This may sound easy, but many people actually practice this. Athletes, professionals, even doctors, psychologists, they all advise us on the importance of breathing. So do take note of things that we can do. If you are stressed out at home, if you feel bad, if you worry about so many things, sit down, have some time, and do proper breathing. Inshallah, you will feel better afterwards. And these are things that you can do on thinking happy thoughts and muscle relaxation. Always stretch. We are at home and we may not be able to exercise more than our usual routine before circuit breaker. So do have some stretch at home. And this will take care of not only our physical health, but our mental and spiritual and psychological health as well, right? These are some weight management tips that you can consider, right? Energy in, energy out, understanding the function of calorie, understanding the function of nutrition, good habit and healthy choices that you can learn through this website, healthhub.com. You can read up and understand the importance of nutrition so that when we pick our food, we know the nutritious content of that food. So that is something that I learned only just recently, because previously I just lantak and I just eat whatever I want. That's how I gain weight a lot. Now that I am aware of the importance of nutritious food, we should focus on that even more. And if you go to muslim.sg, I have an article on 6 ways to break your fast during Ramadan. Some of the sunnah of the good healthy practices that you can do when we break our fast, right? So these are some of the summary by Muslim.sg. You can follow their Instagram or their website. It's good to not delay your fast. It's part of sunnah to not delay your fast. We have to beware of what we consume when we break our fast. The Prophet ﷺ, when he wants to fast, he either take dried dates or wet dates or drink water first, not to consume those meat, those oily stuff first, but to actually start slowly, drink water first, then eat moderately. And the etiquette of eating, not to eat too fast, because the Prophet do not eat as fast as some of us do. Right? Make sincere dua when we want to break your fast. Provide food for others because there is a reward in that. And share Ramadan with others. So these are some of the things that we can practice when we perform our fasting, when we break our fast, inshallah. So other than that, we also not only think about ourselves in this blessed month of Ramadan, we want to help others. There are many people out there which are affected by this condition of COVID-19. So we want to help others by donations, by volunteering. And this is one of the initiatives by 𝗨𝗺𝗀𝗃. You can volunteer and give meals to people who are in need. And they are currently looking at providing 20,000 meals throughout the whole 30 days and raising $3 million. So if you have the time, do volunteer for all these activities of distributing meals to those who are in need, for zakat recipients and others. Or even if you don't have that time and luxury, you can always spend some amount of money. And this is the month of Ramadan, the month that we should increase our sadaqah, our giving to others. And this is one form of giving. Also, if you look at Masjid Al-Falah, there is also an opportunity for you to donate to mosque, and by pay now, by bank transfer and things like that. It's easy to make donation at the comfort of your home, at the comfort of your mobile phone. You can just click and share. And there are also things that we can learn, a lot of things we can learn from Salam SG TV. If you have not heard of this TV, there is this good channel where you can have various form of channel or episodes on Ramadan, on Tanyalah Pakar, on talk show, on advices by Asatiza Singapore, and all of mosques are actually actively spread da'wah and spread videos that you can benefit from. So when you are staying at home, do not do nothing, do not be idle, but instead benefit from all this effort that we can find at Facebook, at YouTube, and online. Right? There are also discussions on how to perform Tarawih prayers by Office of Mufti, contemporary short series, and things like that. So this is my last slide for today. Alhamdulillah. So at least now we have some understanding of how to take care of our health, the importance how Islam view our health, and the importance of understanding the various aspect of health, not just our physical health, but also our social health, our mental health, our holat lamola. So it's not too late to take care for your health. And if you experience extreme obesity, there's always room for you to reduce your weight, especially now in the month of Ramadan. I managed to reduce 25 kilos in 9 months. I managed to reduce about 36 kilos in 9 months. Sorry, 25 kilos in 5 months and 36 kilo in 9 months, and about 40 kilos in total for about after 1.5 years. So it's doable. Basically, you need to understand how to do it. You have to read a lot, have that knowledge, and then you have to have perseverance to take care of your health, of your this ni'mah that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has bestowed upon us. And this is not ours. Our body is not ours. Our body is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's, from Him, that we need to take care of. So this is an amanah to take care of our health, and especially so in this month, in this situation of COVID-19 where virus are spreading a lot. So take care of your hygiene, take care of your well-being, not only for yourself but your family members as well, especially those elderly ones. Play your part, be socially responsible, and hope that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, we pray together that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will remove all these trials and challenges so that we can resume our life and inshallah lah celebrate Hari Raya in the most okay manner, inshallah, this year. If it's not okay this year, we can always celebrate Hari Raya in the best way next year, inshallah. So make prayers, take care of yourself, and yeah, I think that's it. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala bless us, and may Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala grant us His mercy, His blessing, and may we all stay at our best of health so that we can perform a best quality. It's going to be the last 10 nights of Ramadan. So let us increase our ibadah. Let us increase our recitation of the Quran. Let us increase our dua. Let us hope that we can meet the night that is better than 1,000 months, the night of Laylatul Qadr. And may Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala give the best, inshallah. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. And thank you so much for inviting me. I hope this has been beneficial to you. If you think this is helpful, if you think this is something that is beneficial, do share. Do click the share button so that other people can benefit as well. So there is slides, you can pause and you can look at all the slides that have been prepared, inshallah. Thank you so much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you.